everybody. We have a few great treats for you today, something very different, and we're going to start off with an Oeuf Pomme de Terre, which is going to be this fantastic combination of flavors where we'll have a potato, which I'll shell out. We're going to put some beautiful truffle scrambled eggs inside with some mushrooms, and also we're going to have a savory crab meat cheesecake. Have you ever heard of such a thing? Neither have I, but we're going to do it today. So let's start cooking. Okay, first thing we want to do is chop up a few shallots so that we can put them in both of our dishes. We'll have common ingredients for both. That's something you want to try to plan ahead. That way it'll save you prep time. So these shallots will go in our savory crab meat cheesecake as well as our Oeuf Pomme de Terre. And we will put these in a pan with a little bit of butter on a low heat until they start to caramelize a little bit and the oven starts to heat up. Alright, so the savory crab meat cheesecakes take a little bit longer. They're going to take about 30 to 40 minutes in the oven at 300. So we'll start on that first. And what we will do is we'll start with the sour cream. You need about a quarter cup of sour cream. If you can get organic, that's wonderful. You know how I feel about organic, once again. And then we're going to use a whole package, which is 8 ounces of cream cheese. I like to use the whipped cream cheese. It's lighter, it's airier, it's actually easier to work with. So we'll put that in the bowl, and then next what we'll do is we'll add 2 eggs. Always on a flat surface. That way you don't introduce bacteria into the dish. And then we're going to whip this up. We can use a mixer if you'd like. I kind of like to do it by hand. And then blend it in so that it's nice and smooth. We're going to add a pinch of salt as well as a pinch of fresh cracked pepper. Use the fresh cracked pepper, much better. It gives the essential oils and the aroma. Don't use the stuff that's already ground. Okay, it's whipping up very nicely in the bowl. I love to do it by hand instead of the mixer. Sometimes it's just, you get that connectiveness with the food, and sometimes it's just plain quicker. So I'm going to add a little bit more pepper. I love my pepper, again. I know you folks know that. And another touch of, this is very coarse sea salt from the Mediterranean. I love this flavor of this salt. It has a mineral essence to it, which is really unmatched. So Himalayan sea salt, very similar actually, but I just love the coarseness of this stuff. Okay, time to fold in some of the shallots as well as the crab meat. So the shallots have browned very nicely, and we'll incorporate a little bit of that. Half the mixture, this was 2 large shallots, so we'll put some in there. And I will fold that in first. Done. And then we have 1 can of crab meat over here. You can use lump crab meat or you can use the fine crab meat. Doesn't make much of a difference with this over here because it's going to be blended in very nicely. That's it. Now we're going to pour it into our ramekins. Whoa. And our ramekins over here I've partially prepared. So what you'd like to do is butter each one of these. Just take a little bit of butter and put it in very nicely so that all parts of it are greased nicely. And then we will also put some breadcrumbs. Now the breadcrumbs are going to help it to stop from sticking from the sides. And a little trick to do is you pour the breadcrumbs in one, and then what you want to do is just, you can put the other one at the bottom over here and just blend it around like this and covers all sides. Beautiful. And we'll do the next one. Look at that. We have all 4 done. And perfect. We're going to pour our liquids into each one of these right now. You also want to put them in the pan because obviously it's a souffle and it's going to rise and you don't want it to go all over your oven. That makes for a big mess. You don't want to clean up a big mess like that. All right, I'm just blending it in a little bit more. Perfect. All right. And what we'll do is we'll spoon some of this about 3/4 of the way in each one because it's going to rise once again. All right, that's 1, 2. There's the 3rd one. And the 4th one. All right, we're going to put a little bit of shredded cheese on top. This is a personal preference as to what you'd like to use. I have a couple of different cheeses here. Amatellier. I have some soft cheese as well as a little bit of Asiago. And the Asiago actually makes a nice little bite to it. Okay, time to work on the potatoes over here. What I did in advance is I took how many potatoes that you will need for your guest, and typically it'll be one potato because you'll have two sides. And you can use any potato you want, honestly. There's thin skin, there's Idaho, there's Maine, there's russet, there's virtually all these different beautiful potatoes. So use the one that you'd like. This one is a particularly fine, thin-skinned Idaho over here. And I put it in the microwave. 2 potatoes take about 8-9 minutes. And so you can add a few minutes for each potato, about 4 minutes each potato. And I'm just scooping out the flesh like this. And now, after I do this, I'm going to bake them in the oven. And you can put them in the same oven. I'm going to put them in another oven that I have, a smaller conventional oven at a higher temperature because it'll cook a little bit faster. Potatoes need that actually. It takes a long time for a potato skin to crisp up, and that's really what I'm looking for. But before I do that, I'm going to also add some other elements to the skin so that they can actually bring out the flavor of the eggs once you put them in. Okay, the coarse sea salt is a must for these, as well as some fresh cracked pepper. Once again, a touch of the herbes de Provence. Okay, here's another little gift over here. This is an appetizer, but it will actually be part of our meal because it'll go very well with it. You'll take a nice big fat mushroom and you can wash them. Don't let anybody tell you need to brush them with a brush. You can wash them, and they say don't wash them in advance because they turn brown. Well, guess what? Oh, the potatoes are done because these are going to go in the oven now. When you wash them and they turn brown, guess what? That's fine, because what happens when you cook them? They turn brown. All these myths in the kitchen, they make me laugh. You have to bust some of these myths sometimes. Okay, time to shut off the heat. And look at those colors. Magic trick, the purple beans turned green. What an aroma once again, so let's put that aside. Okay, to unmold a soufflé, what you'd like to do is run your knife along the sides of it, and once again the butter and the breadcrumbs will help it from sticking from the pan. And look at that. Just pops right out, right on the plate. Absolutely stunning. How easy is that? Okay, the last piece you want to do is to actually cook the scrambled eggs to go inside the potato baskets, as I call them. So I have our fire going over here, and we'll add the 2 eggs as well as some of the chopped shallots. Okay. A little bit of herbes de Provence to go on top of that. Folks, we've done it. We've prepared some magnificent feasts today, and they are pretty quick. And we have Oeuf Pomme de Terre, which is a magnificent recipe where you take a potato skin and bake it till it becomes crispy, and then you align it with some delicious, soft and savory. But you will stun your guests with these, with the flavors, the complexities, the visual aspect to it all. So enjoy the kitchen with your family and your friends. Build memories that last a lifetime. And take care, everybody.